When Josh Hamilton was arrested in 2019 for allegedly assaulting his teenage daughter, it seemed like the final chapter in a story that had already seen too many dark turns. Here was a man who had once been the American League MVP, a five-time All-Star, and one of baseball's most inspiring comeback stories. How does someone fall so far from grace? But Hamilton's story isn't just about one man's struggles. It's a window into a much larger problem that affects athletes across all sports. Professional sports create a unique environment that can be particularly dangerous for those susceptible to addiction. The combination of intense pressure, physical pain, unlimited resources, and sudden fame creates what addiction specialists call a perfect storm. Athletes often start using substances to manage injuries, cope with performance anxiety, or deal with the isolation that comes with celebrity status. Hamilton's story begins with extraordinary promise. Drafted first overall by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays in 1999, he was considered a generational talent. In high school, he had earned USA Baseball's Amateur Player of the Year award and was widely seen as the future of the sport. His first professional season confirmed this potential when he batted .347 with 10 home runs in just 56 games, earning recognition as the Appalachian League's top prospect. But success in sports often comes with a price. Hamilton had reportedly never touched drugs or alcohol before his professional career began, making his rapid descent all the more shocking. The turning point came in 2001 when Hamilton's parents were involved in a car accident. While dealing with his own injuries from the crash, Hamilton was prescribed pain medication. This moment illustrates a critical vulnerability that many athletes face: the legitimate medical use of potentially addictive substances. For the first time in his life, Hamilton found himself unsupervised and, in his own words, flush with cash. At age 20, with a back injury preventing him from playing baseball, he began spending time at a tattoo shop. It was there that he had his first drink of alcohol and began experimenting with drugs. This progression from prescription medication to recreational substances is unfortunately common among athletes who develop addiction issues. Hamilton's addiction escalated rapidly. He began using crack cocaine and alcohol heavily, leading to multiple failed drug tests and eventually a complete ban from Major League Baseball from 2003 to 2005. During this period, he lost nearly $4 million to his addiction and even attempted suicide. In 2005, while still under suspension, he was arrested for destroying property while intoxicated. The most tragic aspect of Hamilton's early fall was how the punishment system actually made his addiction worse. Being completely cut off from baseball, the thing he loved most, removed his primary source of purpose and identity. Instead of providing the motivation to get clean, the ban pushed him deeper into addiction. Hamilton later described this period as living in a hellhole. Hamilton's story helps illustrate why addiction specialists now classify substance abuse as a chronic disease rather than a moral failing. While the initial decision to use drugs may be voluntary, the brain changes that occur with addiction make it extremely difficult to stop using substances through willpower alone. Hamilton himself has described still experiencing cravings in his dreams years into his recovery, calling it an itch you can't scratch. Professional sports leagues have gradually begun to recognize this reality. The old approach of simply punishing athletes for substance use has given way to more comprehensive treatment programs that focus on rehabilitation rather than punishment. However, as Hamilton's story shows, this evolution has been slow and inconsistent. What makes Hamilton's story truly remarkable is not his fall, but his rise. In October 2005, he experienced what he calls his last significant binge. With the support of his wife Katie, his grandmother, and his Christian faith, he began the long journey back to sobriety and professional baseball. The process wasn't easy. Hamilton entered multiple rehabilitation programs and had to prove his commitment to sobriety before MLB would even consider reinstating him. When he was finally allowed to return to the minor leagues in 2006, he was required to submit to drug tests up to 3 times per week, a condition that Hamilton actually welcomed as a constant reminder of his commitment to staying clean. His MLB debut came in 2007 with the Cincinnati Reds, but it was his trade to the Texas Rangers that truly launched his comeback story. In Texas, Hamilton found an organization and a fan base that embraced his journey. He was remarkably open about his struggles, often speaking publicly about addiction and serving as an inspiration to others facing similar battles. The peak of Hamilton's comeback came in 2010 when he was named the American League MVP. That season, he led the league with 130 RBIs and 331 total bases while helping the Rangers reach the World Series. He would help Texas reach the World Series again in 2011, cementing his status as one of the game's biggest stars. Even during his successful period, Hamilton's transparency about his ongoing struggles helped change how people viewed addiction. When he experienced alcohol relapses in 2009 and 2012, he immediately self-reported to his team and MLB officials. Because these involved legal alcohol, and he passed subsequent drug tests, he wasn't punished by the league. But more importantly, his honesty helped illustrate that recovery is an ongoing process, not a destination. Ironically, Hamilton's very success may have contributed to his later struggles. The intense public attention and the narrative of his completed comeback created new pressures that many people didn't recognize. This dynamic became particularly problematic when Hamilton signed a massive 5-year, $125 million contract with the Los Angeles Angels in 2012. The pressure of such a large contract, combined with being away from the support system he had built in Texas, created a challenging environment for someone in recovery. Hamilton's performance with the Angels was disappointing, and he battled numerous injuries that limited his playing time. While recovering from shoulder surgery in 2015, he admitted to a cocaine relapse that he voluntarily reported to MLB officials. This admission shocked many fans and media members who had seemingly forgotten about his ongoing battle with addiction. The reaction to Hamilton's 2015 relapse revealed how much work still needed to be done in terms of public understanding of addiction. Many viewed his relapse as a betrayal or a sign that he was getting away with substance abuse. MLB's decision not to suspend Hamilton for this relapse, instead treating it within the framework of their joint drug prevention and treatment program, represented a major shift toward rehabilitation over punishment. Hamilton's struggles didn't end when his baseball career concluded. In 2015, he filed for divorce from his wife, Katie. His career was ultimately cut short by knee injuries that required multiple surgeries. The transition from professional athletics to regular life presents unique challenges for all athletes, but particularly for those in recovery. Hamilton's 2019 arrest for allegedly assaulting his daughter represented a new type of struggle, one that went beyond substance abuse to issues of anger management and parenting. His eventual plea to a misdemeanor charge of unlawful restraint resulted in probation, community service, and mandatory attendance at parenting and anger management classes. The terms of Hamilton's probation included prohibitions on alcohol consumption and submission to random drug tests, conditions that he appears to have successfully met. Since his legal resolution in 2022, he has maintained a quiet personal life with occasional public appearances. Josh Hamilton's story offers several important lessons about addiction, recovery, and the unique pressures faced by professional athletes. First, it illustrates that addiction truly is a chronic disease that requires ongoing management rather than a one-time cure. Second, his story shows the importance of support systems in recovery. Third, Hamilton's openness about his struggles helped change public perception of addiction and inspired countless others facing similar battles. Today, Josh Hamilton is in his early 40s and appears to be maintaining his sobriety while staying out of the public eye. His story continues to serve as both a cautionary tale and an inspiration to others facing similar struggles. Hamilton's legacy extends far beyond his impressive baseball statistics. His greater contribution may be his role in helping society better understand addiction as a disease rather than a moral failing. His story reminds us that talent and success don't provide immunity from addiction, that recovery is possible but requires ongoing effort and support, and that society benefits when we approach these issues with empathy and understanding rather than judgment and punishment. For current and future athletes facing similar struggles, Hamilton's journey offers both hope and hard-won wisdom about the ongoing nature of recovery.